reported you talking about the government business, you can get arrested.
Right, yes. And we had this thing called communal apartments where like there would be one apartment and there would be like several families living there, and they would share like utilities and like bathroom, kitchen. So people would literally, snitch on each other to get rid of their neighbors.
Wow. So they can have more room to live.
Exactly. So we had like, comedy skits about that, how like, one person snitches on another, and like in the end you just have like two people, it was like a husband and wife, and the wife is like going to the authorities. Stuff.
Wow. Oh, wow. I couldn't imagine living like that. I mean, back to what I said before, when we very first started talking.
Mhm.
If that was how it was ever since I was born, then I will be used to it. But being
Mhm.
that I'm a spoiled American, I can look back at that and say, God damn, I would never live like that. I'm glad but that's that's something that's the reason why I'm so and I'm glad you answered that, because the reason why I'm so vocal about my position on where the world is right now, where the country is right now, and what we need to do in order to make things a little better is because I'm
Mhm.
finding that a lot of people who are complaining about day-to-day issues in this country are extremely entitled. They're very spoiled, and they act as if they don't have the liberties and the freedoms that they actually have. They just want to complain about the such ridiculous things. And not only that, they want to shake things up by completely disrespecting family, disrespecting the Constitution, and introducing to their families and to the communities things that children aren't ready for. Because you study for education,
Mhm.
and I couldn't imagine you teaching your children about the trans community at such a young age, or teaching them that it's okay to be, I mean, it's okay to want to be what you opposite of what you were born. And if you want to be called something else, then we all would do that as a class, because that's something I just me being that I am not close to that situation. I look at that as I look at it as kind of demonic. I don't get it. I don't get it. Maybe if somebody from
Mhm.
that community could really explain to me that so I can really understand it. But from my scope right now, I don't get that at all.
No,
Um,
you're completely right about demonic, and I used to like categorize between like Democrats and Republicans, and now I can see that it's literally like good versus evil, and it's like they're pushing the worst aspects of, of society onto people and onto children. Like they know what they're doing because they know that children, they like sponges, they absorb everything. So they know what they're doing by trying to get to children, and that's why they get so defensive about, being called out on it, because a lot of people who are behind this, they know that children are like the best target for this kind of brainwashing, and like during communism in Russia, we were brainwashed, I mean, we were brainwashed by force mostly, like you weren't allowed not to wear your like star with Lenin's picture in it in school. Like your parents could get fired or like go to jail if you
wow.
didn't have that on your clothes. And here I can see that happening here as well. I can see all those people trying to change the norm of society, like the whole like family structure, where they're trying to get rid of like the father figure, and they're trying to indoctrinate little children about some like weird,
Yeah.
ambiguous like two mommies or
Yep.
whatever, like 10 people living in one household. I
Yep.
don't know if you've seen that Blue's Clues, the trans cartoon.
I'm sorry. What? Now I've seen Blues Clues before, but you said the trans cartoon.
Oh my gosh, I'll have to send that to you.
What?
Like I showed that to my coworker, and I think that that's what like swayed him to say that he's gonna vote Republican. It's really horrible. Yeah, if you watch it, it's awful.
What if it's all about inclusivity? What if they're just trying to include everyone? Like they understand that the world is changing and that people are identifying as something way different than they used to. And they want they want to give the kids a head start and try to teach them so that they can understand and so that they can not feel vilified in their schools. Because what if they are being raised by two mommies or two dads? If they're raised by two moms or two dads, I guess they want to get ahead of it and try to tell them, you know, it's okay if you're raised by two moms and two dads, and your friends have one mom and one dad. We want to teach you that, you know, this is normal too. What do you say to that?
So basically, so there have always been, gender norms, and like every gender has its purpose and a family structure, and like there's studies that show that kids do the best when you have a mother and a father in a family,
Right.
and there's like a father figure and everything like that. And they're trying to normalize the dysfunction when you don't have the normal family structure, you have a whole mess. And a lot of people, a lot of those kids, they're not happy. A lot of them, they're confused because there's no like moral authority to guide them, and you have adults who are pushing that agenda onto little kids. So basically, they're indoctrinating them into thinking that that's the norm. I mean, when I was little, my parents were divorced, so like my family structure was very different from my friends who had both parents together. Like we didn't have the same communication, everything. So like I know how important it is to have, a mother and a father and everything like that. And I mean, like being raised by two moms or two dads, like that's very rare, that's less than like 0.01% or something like that. So they can't, but they're trying to normalize it and push for it, like they're forcing kids to think that they're like trans or gay, whatever. When it's a child, like kids don't really know anything about sexuality, but they're trying to like, you know, bribe them even sometimes into
Yeah,
thinking, it's like a whole like brainwashing,
it is.
subconscious even, like it's really scary to see that. And there's a reason why those people don't want to be like recorded, they don't want the kids to tell their parents about it because they know that this is not normal, like, and it's not right.
Wow. Wow. And they make it seem like the rainbows is way more colors, is way more fun being on this side. You can do whatever you want. You can be this today and that tomorrow. Is freedom. If you tell any kid, if you tell any kid that they can be whatever they want today or tomorrow, you can dress like a boy today, you can dress like a girl tomorrow, you can dress however you want, you can dress dark. They're selling bands now on like little wristbands and bracelets now online where when you're feeling like a boy, you can wear blue and you can dress like a boy. If you're
That
feeling
is
like a
so
girl,
crazy.
yes, and
It just
it's
they're
advertising.
literally, yeah, they're literally promoting that,
Yeah.
and they're teaching little kids to be confused about everything. If you're confused about gender, you're gonna be confused about like all aspects of your life.
Do you think a certain race is taking advantage of this the most, or do you think this is like worldwide? Well, before now,
I am,
reason why I asked, just so you know, this is the reason why I asked because Jesse Lee Peterson. You familiar with Jesse Lee Peterson?
of course, yeah. I love
Okay, yeah. I
you
just
color.
I just now heard his name for the first time when I very first started reacting to him. And that's honestly is I don't know how that happened, but it is what it is. But he asks people all the time, do you think we need more white babies?
I
And
do not believe that it's a race thing. because I do see it worldwide. Like you
Okay.
don't really, like being from Russia, I do follow like other like Russian news, and like
Okay.
I see what they're doing. I mean, this is pretty much like this stuff is taken over the world, It's pretty much like cancer, like mold, They're trying to the powers that are trying to create the one world government. And I know that the new world order used to be like a conspiracy, and you were considered to be, crazy and stupid for even saying those words, Now it's all coming to fruition, with World Economic Forum and all those people openly saying what they're going to do, just people are not listening. Like when somebody tells you you will own nothing and you will be happy, that's what they mean. That's what they mean. Like they want you to own nothing and they're gonna force you to be happy. Like, they're not saying you might be happy. They say you will be
You
happy.
will. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a worldwide problem, and this stuff is happening in other countries, and that's why Russia is trying to put a stop to that. I mean, the people who are pushing the most are like the elites, like whoever is trying to destroy society and like
Yeah. Yeah.
implement, and they know that it's evil. I mean, they're trying to weaken every country by weakening the males. That's what they're doing. They're trying to feminize the man and trying to create the gender confusion.
Right.
So there's nobody to defend the country. I mean, they're already, if you've ever looked into the military recruitment ad,
I'm not familiar with it. I'm not familiar with it.
I'm gonna have to send you that one.
See, and that again is the reason why you and I are talking, because you not only are you always extremely vocal, you're also very vocal on Twitter too, I think, right?
I'm like really confused about how to use Twitter. So I'm like, you know what? But I just don't
This
get it.
guy.
It's so confusing. I'm like, I don't know who I replied to or like who commented or what. Like I'm
It's
just
very
not following
confusing.
it.
It's
It
very
it is,
confusing.
yeah.
It's very
But
confusing.
yeah, so like I'll comment on some stuff, but then I'm like, I don't know.
I have a
Yeah, but it's so the US military recruitment ad is basically a cartoon featuring a young girl that has two mummies. And
what?
and this is literally what they are pushing as a military, so that
In the
literally,
military?
yeah, and so that literally tells our enemies, hey, this country is a joke. They don't even have, I mean, they're using a freaking cartoon as their recruitment ad, like this is how weak they are.
And this is something that people don't consider when they put these thoughts out there into the world. They don't consider how these other countries will look at us. They don't consider that we're putting ourselves in a weaker state by doing this. They just always it just seems like everybody, like I said earlier, it seems like everybody are all for themselves. They're like, no, we want to be this, and we're going to make sure that we push this agenda on as many people as possible. You don't have to do that. Just live your life, be happy within your own households. But when you're trying to push this agenda on everyone else, you can negatively affect everyone outside of your community and the country as a whole.